G'day, I'm Jason Cartwright and I want to talk to you about a brand new project. It's called Constructiv. So let me tell you what Constructiv is. It's an idea I had at Christmas time that we all basically own and love gadgets and products. It doesn't have to be a gadget, it's just a hardware product in general, and usually have thoughtful commentary or discussions about what it's missing, what we'd like to see in the next version. That kind of discussion, and it's already, I see that online. A lot of people are, either writing on their own blogs or leaving comments on others. Maybe it's just something as simple as a tweet, but certainly contributing really constructive information, and that's just sort of being forgotten about. And I'd like to bring all of that together in a central location, and that would be Constructiv. So the way it would work is the community creates the content. So you might suggest an idea for a future revision of a product. So maybe Boxy Box, if we take that as an example. If you own a Boxy Box and you love it, but maybe in the second version you'd like to see tuners integrated or a built-in hard drive, for example, you could suggest that and create what's called a construct. So that could be as detailed as a full blog post, and or as little as a tweet, if that provided enough information to convey the idea. And then what would happen is the community could come in and vote. And I'm really interested in finding new ways or exploring new ways in doing that voting system, because obviously we've got Dig, we've got Reddit, we've got Facebook likes, if you want to look at that as well. So there's a lot of different commenting, rating systems around. So I think there's something unique we can do there and something pretty special. But as you submit ideas, that builds to your profile. And so over time, if your construct gets approved, and I'll talk about that in a second, the more constructs you have approved, that builds to your profile, and then you would effectively become a real great source for businesses to look at and go, well, that's a really good somebody who thinks in the way that we need to develop our product. So potentially you could be hired or rewarded in some fashion for suggesting your idea. So at least initially we're not going to be enforcing that. I think it's beneficial to leave that up to the individual companies to reward construct suggestions in their own way. So maybe it could be the first new version, say Boxy Box version 2, could go to the person who suggests the top rated feature request, basically. In terms of business, I think it's an incredibly valuable tool, or it will become that. When you've got a community of users, the most enthusiastic people about your product, if they're actually telling you what you need to put in for them to buy the next version of that, I think that's going to be an incredibly difficult thing for a company to ignore. That if you've got a community of users, of thousands of people, saying that if you do this, then we will buy your product, I think that's going to be very hard for them to ignore. So that's the core premise, and the little intricacies of how it works, how we ensure that it is only constructive feedback, that it's not just rants and rubbish comments. That's something that is going to be critical to the site. Something that, if you've ever been to YouTube, obviously the sorts of throwaway comments that are there. A lot of that can be tied to, I guess, anonymity, to the fact that you can use usernames. So maybe we enforce that you have to use your real name, like a Facebook kind of commenting system, or construct suggestion. So the other part to it is, not only would there be constructs, but also solutions. So if I knew what I didn't like, but didn't know how to fix it. So you might have a couple of different types of users coming to the site. Somebody might be really good at identifying what the problem is, but then another user might come in and say, yep, if that's the problem, then this is the answer. Or we may get users who do both, who can straddle both camps and provide not only a construct but a solution to that. And I would imagine that constructs, they can definitely be voted up and down, but the solutions as well could be voted up and down. And so a business would be able to come in and see their product catalog and say, well, show me all the constructs based on, say, the Boxy Box or, you know, Sony camcorder XYZ, you know, and the business would be able to verify themselves and be able to take control of that area effectively. Yeah, so that's, I think I've probably talked enough about the core idea of what Constructiv is. The website right now is constructiv.co, and it's going to be a blog about the project. So the project of building this startup, and it's, you know, I was a little nervous, perhaps you could say, about releasing the idea to the public, and not, you know, typically companies will build in the background and then have a launch and then make everything public. Well, I watched, really the reason I'm making it public now is the fact that I watched Kevin Rose's Foundation episode 3 with the guy who started Second Life, and he really encouraged, you know, the viewers, and I was one of them, to do things in public. That his suggestion was that the benefits of doing that far outweigh any risks of, say, a competitor coming in and beating its market or whatever that be. So I'm not so concerned with that. I think hopefully, you know, and time will tell, but hopefully the benefits do outweigh the negatives. And one of the potential benefits, or massive benefits, is by getting the word out now. I want you guys who are watching this, if you know developers that can help me build Constructiv, then you need to let them know about it. Let them know about the project, send them to constructiv.co, and we'll get together and we'll start working on this thing. So at the moment, there's a video on the site of how Constructiv would work, like a prototype animation that I've built and run through. So I would be working on the design, UI, UX, that sort of stuff. My skill area doesn't really lie in is the back-end programming. So I would need to attract developers to the project to do that, to help me out on that. So if you know anybody, please let me know. I'm very keen to build it on the Microsoft stack. It might sound a strange decision, but that's definitely the way I want to go. I think, you know, while a lot of the hot startups perhaps don't use Microsoft, it's something that's always sort of intrigued me, and I like what they do, particularly in the server market and their cloud offerings like Azure. So yeah, that's the way I would like to go. I've been accepted into the BizSpark program, which is fantastic. I've submitted the application for the ABN. I'll set up bank accounts and all that sort of jazz, so I'll do the businessy sort of stuff. But yeah, I really need a developer on board. So there's probably 2 ways it could roll out. I think the developer, if they're already working, maybe they want to do this as a side project out of hours, and we could work out an arrangement that they, you know, get part of the business as a reward for working, which is not an uncommon sort of scenario for startups. The other way to proceed, I guess, is if somebody likes the idea of Constructiv and wants to invest, and then a developer says, well, you know, I'm only after the dollars, I want, you know, $3,000 to do this, you know, first build or whatever it be, then, you know, that's another way I could see it play out as well. So really interesting to see that. I'd much rather the first model, where somebody's on board and committed to the idea and will help me build it throughout, and then as we hire additional developers, then they can basically manage those developers. So yeah, please use your communities to help me out and build Constructiv. I think it's going to be valuable for the world, effectively. This thing, I have a real vision of where it's going to go, and it's not Australia-wide, it's international. I think companies world over can get benefit of it. I think contributors, the people who actually make the constructs, they can get, you know, either hiring, you know, potential hires from creating constructs, or just recognition for their work. Whereas at the moment that's just being lost in a comment or a blog post. So yeah, that's probably all I can say right now. Just jump over to constructiv.co and check it out. Check out that video. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, and That'd be great, much appreciated, and welcome to Constructiv.